Hey guys. Okay. Huh. Hey everybody. What's up? Okay. We're going to do makeup. So I got two cameras going. I got one for Facebook and one for TikTok. And today we're going to do makeup and we're going to talk about domestic violence. So let's put on our scent for the day. I'm going to do Billie Eilish's scent, which I love it. It's really kind of a vanilla scent. Soft, but it's good. And then we're going to moisturize my face. So, okay. Hey everybody, come do makeup with us. This is the Peter Thomas Roth hold on. Water Drenched Hyaluronic Glow Serum. Super duper moisturizing. Like, it makes my face feel like really plump. Okay. Hey y'all. Okay. Then, even though I'm brown, we're going to put on sunscreen. Because you never know, right? I already got skin damage on my face once. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm spitting out my medicine. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I just got sweatpants on and a Metallica shirt because I'm just chilling today. But I wanted to talk about domestic violence because yesterday I was watching YouTube and I follow a girl named Jessica Kemp. We touched on it a little bit yesterday, but I really didn't go into much detail. And so I don't really want to talk about her situation. I just want to talk about domestic violence in general and share with you guys my experience with domestic violence and how awful it was, because it was awful. So that's what we're going to do. Let me move this stuff out of the way so I can get all these cameras going good. Facebook, what's up, y'all? Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Tina, what's up, y'all? Okay. So, for those of you guys that don't know, I was in a domestic violence situation for about almost 7 years. When I was in my mid-20s, I met a guy at a dope house named L.D. Lastly Davis Chicotts Jr. And I met him, sorry I got to put deodorant on. I met him at a dope cook's house, right? And we were getting high on meth. And I'll never forget it, y'all. He was walking past me, and I just thought he was the cutest thing that could ever be. And he caught my eye, you know? And so, of course, I said something to him, and I gave him my phone number, and 2 days later, he called me. It was like, hey, we should hang out. I was like, I agree. So we did. So, little did I know, this dude was going to be damn near kill me. this dude was going to damn near kill me. So I started dating him latter part of 2021. Okay. I had just graduated high school, so I wasn't even I was just 21 or 22, when I met him. So I wasn't even that old yet. But I thought I knew everything. You know how that is. Now, when I first started dating him, he was homeless. He had no car and nowhere to live. He was sleeping on his grandma's couch. And for some reason, something about me is like, I always feel like I need to help people. I have been like this all my life. And so when I realized that he was like legit homeless, I was like, dude, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you get a home. I'm going to help you get a job. I'm going to help you get a car. And I did all those things. I helped him basically become self-supporting, right? Because when I met him, that dude didn't have a pot to piss in. So I remember people telling me, like, girl, he will hit you. He hit his last girlfriend, But you know how it is. You're going to be different. You're going to be the one that changes him. You're going to be the one who he doesn't hit. Honey, if a man hit a woman, he will hit you. You ain't that good that you can change him. And I'm telling you that because it's the truth. Once a hitter, always a hitter. And so, I thought I could change him. I really, really did, you guys. I'm sorry, I wet my sponge. I really thought I could change him and make him not do that. Because here was the thing. He came from a broken family. His mom was a prostitute. His dad really liked this one prostitute, and he got her pregnant 3 times. So he had a brother and a sister from this woman, okay? So he already had like a really bad relationship with women. Like, he did not like women because of this, because his mom abandoned him when he was little. He felt like he had been abandoned. And so, I kind of, reaped the brunt of that. Yeah, it's like a savior complex, you guys. It really is. And so, my parents called it something like Nurse Nightingale syndrome or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but y'all know what I mean. And so his family was like a broken family, and they follow me online, so they know I talk about it because it's my story to fucking tell. Even his brothers and sister tried to warn me about his abusive ways. They tried to let me know, like, Nicole, you don't want to be with him. He's really broken, and it's not going to be good. My Facebook is Nikki, N-I-C-K-Y, Ploudre, P-L-O-U-D-R-E. And so, but I didn't listen because I really thought that he was worth saving, y'all. Okay, here's Nikki Ploudre for y'all that are on TikTok. If y'all want to come over to Facebook. Okay, so, I started dating him and I fell in love with him, I don't know if I fell in love or if I just fell in love with the idea of, like, helping him become better, but it gave me something to, like, work on, and I just really put my all into it, okay? I put my all into helping this dude. And what ended up happening was it pulled me away from my family. Like, because I was constantly focusing on this guy, I was not able to be with my family, and it really hurt my family, because they saw that I was being abused. So it's important for me to tell you guys that the abuse didn't start right away with him hitting me. It was like a gradual workup, okay? This is MAC Face and Body. That's what I use for my skin. It was a gradual workup of him, like, showing his true colors, right? So, like, 6 months into our relationship, I got physical with him because he was fucking with my radio and pissed me off. and I punched his ass, and he threw my car into oncoming traffic, and we had a head-on collision. Okay, it was right at the front right-hand side of my car. My car was fucked, and when I went to get out of the car, I was crying, and I was like, oh my God, right? Well, he was nowhere to be found. He had ran. He had went and escaped the scene and left me there to fend for myself. So that should have been my first red flag, but it wasn't. We had nowhere to live. We were sleeping in my car. So I got us a 1-bedroom efficiency in downtown Hot Springs, right above the strip club, the French Quarter. It was across the street from the French Quarter. When I tell you guys, this 1-bedroom efficiency had rats, roaches. You could hear people screaming and fighting all night long. It was nowhere that you wanted to live, okay? It came fully furnished with a bloody mattress, a ripped up recliner, a dirty as hell refrigerator, a nasty toilet, and a nasty shower. And I lived there for 6 months with him. Now, the reason why I only lived there for 6 months was because eventually my family came. They wanted to see where I was living, honey. And I knew my dad was going to freak out the minute he saw this place. So my dad and my mom showed up, and my dad was like, oh, hell no. You are not living here no more. And that's when my family helped me find us a nice little trailer out in the out off of Amity Road. Michelle, remember that little blue trailer? It was so nice. This was worse than Joe's apartment, y'all. One time me and LD were knocking boots, and he was on top of me. And I looked up. I was about to climax, and there was a roach this big on his shoulder with his little antenna looking at me like, yeah, baby, yeah, get it, girl. Okay? I screamed so loud. Okay? I screamed so loud and started freaking out, trying to throw him off of me because there was this roach that was so big. This is the kind of place that if you fell asleep there, you would legit, like a roach could go in your ear and get stuck. Like it was bad. Okay? The roaches was talking to us. They were like our little friends. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. So my dad was like, hell no, my daughter ain't living here. And he was really upset that LD would be okay with us living there. And that should have been my other red flag. That he was like, okay with it, you know? But, like I said, it wasn't. So, once my dad and my mom came over, they were like, we're getting you out of here, girl. And they got us out of there. I paid for the stuff, you know, they helped me find it though, because I didn't know how to look for my own place. I was like just now turning 21 or something like that, you know? And so they helped me find us a nice little trailer, and we moved into it. And at this time, the only like physical altercation that me and him had was him throwing my car into oncoming traffic. Okay? That was the only like physical stuff that had happened. Well, once we moved into our little trailer, I'll never forget it. We'd probably lived there like 6 months. And I had $350 worth of rent hidden in a little brown wooden box on top of the cabinets. And we had the Terry twins over with Dennis Gormley, and we were all high on meth. Well, the next morning, it was time for me to pay rent. So, I went to get my rent out of that little box, and it was gone. And I freaked the fuck out. So, I locked everybody in my house. And that's when I seen LD show how crazy he really was. Only he wasn't showing it to me, he was showing it to them. We made them girls strip naked. Okay? Completely naked. One of the girls had a cast up to her fucking thigh from breaking her whole damn leg, okay? These girls stripped down naked and they didn't have nothing on them. Well, I got a fucking hanger, dude, and I went down that girl's cast and there was my $350. When I tell you, I thought LD was going to kill them girls. I thought we were going to catch a murder charge. But it was scary to see how angry he got, you know? But it wasn't focused at me. So I was like, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to get mean with people because people be trying to take advantage of you, right? So I sloughed it off as long as he wasn't being mean to me. It's not that big of a deal. Well, time went by and I started, you know, showing how I really was when I got high, which was a hot mess express. One night we had gotten really high on meth and I had been high because what I would do is I, of course, paid for the drugs, so I would get more of the drugs than I would get him. And so I would get real fucked up, and then I would start tripping. Well, this one night in particular, I thought I couldn't breathe. I started hyperventilating, trying to breathe when I was breathing, obviously. And I was like, you got to take me to the emergency room. You got to take me to the emergency room. And I remember him getting so mad at me and like slamming me down on my chair. And, Nicole, you are high on meth right now. Right? But I was adamant that I could not breathe and that he needed to take me to the emergency room. So he finally took me to the emergency room. And when we got there, the lady at the ER was like, listen, sweetheart, you just need to not be doing stimulants because that's what's going on here. And she gave me a Valium and sent me home. And he was so mad at me, you guys. I thought I was going to get my ass beat, right? But I didn't know if he was capable of doing some stuff like that. Well, he didn't. And life went on, right? Well, all of a sudden one day he comes to me and he's like, Nicole, I know that you're probably going to be upset about this, but my dad is coming from California and he has nowhere to live. And I'm like, okay, and he's like, he's going to come live with us. Well, at first, you know, I was like, oh, it's just his dad. His dad just needs somewhere to stay until he gets on his feet. What's the harm that can be done in that, right? So I was like, okay, sure, you know, like, he can come stay with us for a little bit. Bad idea. Bad idea. His dad was a die-hard alcoholic. He gets so fucking drunk at night that he is like whistling in the middle of the night, stomping his feet on the fucking, on the damn floor in the trailer. I mean, just out of control, dude. Out of control. And I was like, what have I got myself into, dude? What have I got myself into? Well, at this time, I had just gotten a new job working for the state of Arkansas. And I was working at the revenue office. So I was making good money, you know. Had insurance and benefits and all kinds of stuff. And I was working part-time at Sonic for extra money. So I wasn't home as much as I would like to be, you know. Well, this one weekend in particular, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be home till like 10 o'clock tonight. Please, you know, tell your dad to act right. Y'all don't be getting us in trouble in the trailer park. And I'll be home at 10. Well, I came home that night, and I couldn't find LD. He was nowhere to be found. So I called around the trailer park, and I called his sister, and all that shit. Well, he finally shows up on the doorstep. He was over at his sister's house, who had this little friend named Stacy. Now, this little Stacy girl was, she was deaf, redheaded, cute little girl. I didn't think nothing about it. You know, and we went on about our business, did the do that night, and 2 days later, I started burning and itching. Burning and itching. When I tell you, like, it was so uncomfortable. And I was like, man, I got an STD. Like, I know exactly what this is. This is a fucking bullshit chlamydia or something, right? So I was at work that day, and I looked at my boss, and I said, I need to go to the emergency room. I need to go to the hospital right now. So I called my family doctor, and he worked me in and gave me a pap smear and all that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, y'all, I had gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomonas. 3 STIs. Okay? 3 STIs. So I come home, and I'm like, you cheated on me. You cheated on me the other night. That's why you weren't home. That's where you were at. You were cheating on me. Who did you cheat on me with? And he starts crying like a little bitch that he was. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you gave me 3 STDs. You know? And he was like, Stacy, and told me who it was. That was another red flag. I should have left his ass, right? I said, well, your ass is going to the doctor right now. And I took him to see my doctor and got his ass treated. And then I went down to his sister's house and told that dumb hoe, hey, you're a nasty ass bitch. And you need to go get your ass treated because you gave LD and I 3 different STDs. And she was just like, and I was like, yeah, nasty ass. So she went and got herself treated. And this is something, because we lived in a trailer park, and all these girls in the trailer park were hoes. I wasn't. I was with my man. But my man was a piece of shit. They would literally do this shit where they would give each other STIs all through the trailer park. Because so-and-so's husband would be sleeping with so-and-so. When I tell you guys, I should have ran for the fucking hills when I met this fool. But I was so bad on drugs, I thought, I could help him. I'll help him to be better. I spent 6 years of my life in this trailer park, backwoods ass setting, okay, with this loser, all right, trying to help him to be a better person, trying to help him to get a good job and help support our family, taking care of his dad living with us, his sister, her kids, her baby daddy. I mean, it was the drama that you could never imagine. And I finally was just like, how stupid could I be? You know, how stupid could I be? I started to realize what an idiot I looked like. What a loser I looked like for doing this shit. Well, because I was such a broken, insecure young woman, I stayed. That's when he started beating my ass. So one day, I came home, and of course, I came home from work after working 2 jobs, and my house is full of people. People I don't want to be in my house. Sister, brother, kids, friends, everybody. And I'm like, dude, can't I just have my house to myself for once without everybody's fucking mama up in my crib, you know? Well, this one day in particular, I guess he was in a bad mood or something. I don't know. There was no reason for it. And he got pissed at me because I embarrassed him in front of everybody. Because I was pissed that I came home to a house full of people I don't fucking want in my house. And he threw this sippy cup full of milk across the room and hit me smack dab in the forehead right here. And I stood there for a second, and then blood just started pouring down my face. And I was like, my head's cracked open. This fool just threw a sippy cup full of milk at me, and my head is cracked open, right? I got so mad. I was so pissed. I went in the room, I wrapped my head up with a tourniquet, and I laid down, which you should never do when you get hit in the head, right? Well, I laid down, and I thought, it'll stop bleeding in a little bit, and then it'll be fine. Well, I fell asleep, and it didn't stop bleeding. I woke up, and my towel, my fucking pillow was soaking wet, full of blood. And I got up and I was like, you gotta take me to the emergency room, you dumb motherfucker. I was like, my head is still split open and it's not shutting, right? So that was the first time that I had to lie to the emergency room about why I was there. I said, oh, we have a weight bench in our kitchen and I tripped over it and busted my head open. How fucking stupid is that? But I was so ashamed and so embarrassed that I would be in this situation in the first place that I couldn't even come to admit what happened, you know? Well, because I hit my head, I had a black eye from it. So when I went to work, my bosses knew exactly what had happened. They knew that something had happened with him, and I didn't just fall and hit my head. My parents knew exactly what had happened. Everybody knew. I thought I had everybody fooled, but I didn't. Well, everybody was like, you need to leave him, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, he's not a bad person. He just needs help. And for some reason, I felt so inclined. I felt so bad for him, you guys. But now that I look back on it, he was a fucking leech that sucked me dry. Okay? He was a leech that sucked me dry, and anybody else that he could come in contact with, he would do the same. And I'm sorry, he's dead now. You know, rest in peace, fool. But that's what happens when you do bad stuff to people. Over time, karma is going to get your ass. So, he really did me dirty. After all that happened, I started to it started going downhill. Our relationship was not happy. I was miserable every single day that I would come home. There would be people up in my house, piled up, people that I didn't want there, you know. Just, you know how it is. I'm the only one working, basically. He's working like part-time hours. And I'm coming home and all these people are in the house. And it's just so frustrating because I was working so hard to provide for us. And I just felt so taken advantage of. Because I was taken advantage of. So, I would come home and I would be, you know, upset about it. I'd be like, you know, damn, dude, what are you doing? Like, what is there, a party here? And so it started making us fight even more. And then usually I started, and then I started using more drugs, right? I started using more opioids. And I would just come home fucking throwed off of methadone 40 milligram wafers. And that's when I cheated on him with this guy named Jason. So there was this cute ass dude that I used to date whenever I was in high school. His name was Jason Klein. I will never forget him, y'all. He had long blonde hair. He looked like he could be a Hanson, a brother of the Hansons, right? He had long blonde hair and blue eyes and tan skin. He was a little skater dude. He was just very attractive, right? And his mom was getting them 40 milligram wafers. So I was like, hell, you know, I'm going to get some of those. So I did. Well, I got me some of those, and I would just come home and I would just be checked out of life every day. You know, checked out of life every day. And he was starting to notice that I was just like fucking really high, and he would get so mad at me because I wasn't bringing anything home to him. That's when I cheated on him and I got pregnant. And the thing about this guy was he was adamant, not Jason, but my boyfriend, that he could never have kids, that he was sterile somehow. So I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I wasn't pregnant by LD, that I was pregnant by this Jason guy. And I remember Jason at that time had just gotten in trouble with the law on like his second manslaughter charge. Okay, so Jason was a drunk driver. He would drive drunk and hit people and they would die, which is so horrible. Honestly, when I think back to it, I think, why was I staying with these kind of men? But like I said, when you're insecure and you don't love yourself, you think that's all I can get. That's all I'm good enough for, right? And that's what I did. I played myself down. I was a catch, y'all. I was a catch. Any dude who had had me would be lucky to have me. Even though I was fucked up on drugs, I was still a good person. You know what I'm saying? And so, I told Jason's mom and him that I was pregnant and that I was going to have an abortion. And I called my sister and I said, I need you to help me. I need to get an abortion. And she said, bitch, you better call mom. And so I called my mom. Of course, my mom didn't want me to, but if I didn't have an abortion, you guys, LD would have killed me. If he would have found out that I was pregnant by Jason, he would have beat my ass and killed me. Let me just let that be known, okay? He was violent as fuck. And y'all haven't even heard the real abuse that he put me through. Okay, the real domestic violence yet. So my mom came and picked me up, and she was sad. She didn't want me to, but she came and picked me up. I went and had an abortion here in Little Rock. Do you know where the abortion clinic is here in Little Rock, you guys? It's right beside a restaurant called The Butcher Shop. Can you fucking believe that, dude? It's beside a fucking restaurant called The Butcher Shop. Holy cow. Okay? And I couldn't believe it. I walked up, and there was people outside of it picketing, yelling, you know, baby killer and all these things. And all I could think about was like, dude, I'm on methadone 40 milligram wafers. I am fucking high all the time. This is not going to be a child that comes into this world healthy in any way, right? And at that time, I was so young. I think I was 23 or 24. I was like, I had no second guesses about the decision that I made. I knew the decision that I made was the right decision. Because I would have ended up getting killed by him, and my baby would have been killed too. So, I came back home, and what was crazy about it is I had all this stuff happening, and LD was none the wiser. Because he didn't care about me. Because he was just using me, and I didn't even see it. So life went on, and we moved into a bigger trailer, and you know that just brought on more problems. More his family could move in with us and suck me dry, and that's exactly what happened. And I was miserable, dude. I was miserable. I hadn't seen my family in years because I stopped going to my mom and dad's house because I was embarrassed. Because I was getting my ass beat by a dude all the time. Well, one day I came home and he was nowhere to be found. I was too tired to call around and look for his ass. So I took me my 40 milligram wafers, a couple Xanaxes, and I went to sleep. Right? Could have died that day, but I didn't. Well, one thing about me was I had really good credit, and I loved to buy jewelry. So I had bought myself all these really beautiful diamond rings and necklaces and all kinds of cool stuff like that, right? Well, when I woke up the next morning, all that shit was gone. Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Still to this day, I don't know if it was him that robbed me or the Terry twins, but it was one of the two people. So I woke up, my shit was nowhere to be found. He was nowhere to be found. And that's when I finally called his sister, and I was like, where the fuck is your brother at? And that's when she told me, he is with Ashley. Ashley was this girl in the trailer park that we all called Trashly Ashley, and not in a good way either. Not like Trashly Anonymous here on TikTok. Like, this girl was a skank. And so I was like, okay. And that was the day that I finally got the damn cojones to get the fuck up out of Dodge. So what I did, I took everything. I took his socks, I took his boxers, I took his clothes, I took the dressers. Bitches, I took pots and pans. I took everything in that motherfucking trailer that wasn't nailed down to the motherfucking ground. Okay, and you want to know how I did it? So, me and my friend Nikki, her name was Nicole, too, we went to Walmart to go get some boxes. And on my way out of Walmart, I seen these three guys standing by their big-ass, jacked-up Dodge trucks. And I said, hey, guys, I'm in a DV relationship, and I need to get the fuck up out of Dodge, quick, fast, in a hurry. And he ain't there. Will y'all come with me and pack my shit, help me throw my shit in the back of y'all's trucks and ride out? And when I tell you, them country-ass motherfuckers were the bomb. They said, hell yeah, bitch, let's ride. And so I jumped in the truck, she drove my car, and we went back to my house and packed everything in these three stranger dudes I'd never met in my life's car. And me and my friend Nikki drove to her house, and I moved straight in with her that day. And I never looked back. Now, I was brokenhearted, dude. I was brokenhearted because I had put so much into this relationship. And I really thought that I was going to be able to help this person, right? And so I was really sad about it, dude. I was really sad. And so I probably went through a year's worth of just a depression where I was smoking crack, shooting dope, taking ecstasy pills all day long, every day, to the point where I was damn near dying, And I didn't see him for a whole year, okay? I remember I had gotten pretty thick while we were together, because that's what happens to me when I'm in a relationship. I start gaining weight. But I had lost all my weight. I was fucking fine as wine, and I was kicking it, right? Well, guess what happened? I saw him. I saw him over at a mutual friend's house that I was already staying over at their house that night because we were all getting fucked up. And he stayed the night there too. And I was crying my eyes out, telling him that I loved him and that I was sad about what happened. And he was like, you took everything. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I did, And we ended up hooking up that night, of course, because we had a 6-year relationship, 7-year relationship. And we started seeing each other back and forth, right? Back and forth, back and forth. Well, I didn't know that he was seeing this girl who was in nursing school. Poor girl. But I found out real quick. My sister's friend, not a good friend of hers, but a girl that was a young girl, younger than me, that my sister knew. And I had to tell her. Her name was Brandy. And I remember reaching out to her and going, girl, listen to me. I know that you're going to think I'm just a jealous ex, because I am that too. But I got to tell you, that you don't want to be in this relationship. He will take advantage of you. Of course, she didn't listen to me. And she ended up getting really badly hurt by him. He threw her out of their truck. Her truck, actually, her Escalade, while it was moving. And she busted her face on the curb and had to get plastic surgery, okay? It was serious. But anyway, my dumb ass thought, I can change this person. I can change this person, right? I can turn this around. And so I was bouncing back and forth, going and hanging out, then going home and knowing that I shouldn't be hanging around with him, but I kept going back and forth. Well, honey, one night I had gotten really drunk. We were both really drunk on vodka and red Kool-Aid. And this was the night that I after this night, I never went back, because I knew 100% that the next time I went back there, I was going to come out in a body bag. So we were over at Gary's house, which was the owner of this construction company that I had gotten him hooked up with a job. Gosley Construction. Really great men. Super awesome guys. But Gary was gay, okay? And he had let LD move in with him to live there. Well, honey, when I tell you, that night, we had gotten really drunk, and I don't know what started the argument, but this night was the night that I realized, damn, dude, this guy's going to kill somebody one day, and I don't want it to be me, And so I remember him punching me in the face with his fist, and me hitting the concrete in the garage. And I got back up, and he grabbed me by my hair and took me down to the ground and started going bam, 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 in the concrete with my head, okay? When I tell you guys, I remember him taking me to the bedroom. I remember pissing on the floor, full out, pissing on the floor in the bedroom, crying, then passing out, then waking up the next morning, and my head was so swollen that I looked like an alien. I looked like a different person. I didn't look like the person I was supposed to be. So I remember knowing that I had to get out of there. I got to go home. There's something wrong with me. I know I'm fucked up, right? I'm fucked up, and I need to get the hell up out of Dodge. So I called my mom and dad, and I was like, listen, I'm coming home. That's all you need to know. And I looked at him, and I said, you will never see me again. And he was trying to lie and tell me, you guys, that I had fallen. Oh, girl, you fell. You fell, honey. You are so... Do I look like I'm not stupid, okay? I got in my car, still had the little blue Ford Focus like I told y'all about, and I drove to my mom and dad's house. And when my mom answered the door, she said I didn't even look like her daughter. My head was so swollen, I looked like an alien. I looked like an alien. And I was working overnights at McDonald's at that time. Okay, I was working the 11 to 7 shift. And so I was like, I'm just going to go to sleep for a little bit, and then I'll wake up and I'll go to work, right? And my mom was like, there's no way you're going to be able to work. And I was like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So I went to sleep, and I woke up about 5 p.m., started getting ready, and when I stood up, I fell down. So I stood up again, and I fell down again. And every time I would try to stand upright, I would topple down to the ground like a tree. Timber! I was like, what is going on here, man? So I was like, I'll be fine. And I made my way out to my motherfucking car and drove my ass to fucking McDonald's to work that day. And I got in for my shift, and I kept on falling over every time I would stand up. And my boss was like, girl, you can't work. Like, my face was looking all kinds of crazy. But I showed up for my shift, honey. And they were like, you don't have to work, Nicole. And so I got back in my car, and that's when I went to the hospital. I had a concussion so bad, that's why I couldn't stand up straight. That's why I kept on falling over. When I was sitting down, I was okay. I could see, I could drive. But when I stood up, everything would just go, bing, like I was a timber, like a tree. That's the only way I can explain it to you guys. Timber. And I went to the hospital, and they were like, you know, you're lucky to be alive. You're lucky you didn't hurt somebody else driving on the way here. Like, they were giving it to me, you know. They were upset with me for even thinking I could go to work. And my mom tried to tell them, you know, that she tried to stop me, but there wasn't no stopping me when I had my mind made up, you know. So I went home to my parents' house, and they let me sleep at their house for a little while. And that's when I decided I went to treatment. I went to treatment from their house straight into RCA. And I had never been to RCA. Well, no, I had been there once out of prison. And so I went to RCA, and I stayed there for like 30 days. And when I tell you guys, if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody for so long where they are like abusive to you, physically, mentally, emotionally, verbally, you know, it's just such a hard thing to understand, because, like, I couldn't even understand, why wouldn't I go away from this person? Why would I keep going back for more? I still, to this day, when I'm telling stories to you guys, I still, to this day, find myself making excuses for that piece of shit, right? Just like I was telling you guys at the beginning of the story. He came from a broken family. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he came from a broken family. You know, that doesn't give him the right to bounce my head off the motherfucking concrete. You know, him and his family took such. They took advantage of me and my kindness and how much of a big heart I had and a willingness to help. You know. One time, he got so mad at these guys that I was friends with when we were at a party that he jumped in my car, and they were trying to get him because they thought my car was his car, and he pulled his knife out and started shaking these fools from inside my car, and these fools literally pulled the passenger seat of my car door off the hinges. Okay, so I'm driving down the street with no door. He's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. I have no door on my fucking car. He turns a curve, and I roll out the damn car with my damn car door in my damn hands. Okay? I'm surprised the fool backed up to come and get me. I'm surprised he didn't just ride off without me. That's how fucking evil this dude was, man. When I tell you guys, oh, Lord, it was horrible. But now I have the most amazing husband. And when let me tell you guys about how hard it was for me to accept the fact that my husband actually loves me. When I met my husband, the first time I met him, he opened the car door for me. He opened the car door for me, and I said, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm opening the car door for you. And I said, well, I can do that. And he goes, you're always supposed to open the car door for a lady, you know? And I was like, oh yeah, my dad told me about that, you know? And then we drove to the gas station. This is the first night I met him, okay? And I wanted some cigarettes. And I went to jump out of the truck to go get me some cigarettes. And he goes, oh, just stay right there. What kind do you smoke? And I was like, Marlboro menthols in a box, or Pall Mall menthols in a box, or Cools, whatever is a menthol, right? He's like, okay, I'll get him. And he went inside, grabbed me some menthol cigarettes, some chewy candy, because that's always my favorite, and came back in, gave me what I wanted. And I was like, hey, man, thank you so much, but you didn't have to do that. He's like, of course I did. I was like, okay, well, I gave him my phone number, and he came back, and we hung out again. And I'll never forget it. I was in his truck, and I had to babysit for my roommate. And I was like, hey, I'm babysitting, you know, it's not going to be very much fun or whatever. And he was like, we can take the kids to the park. And I was like, okay, right? Like, let's do it, you know? And so we took the kids to the park, and I'll never forget it. This is the first time. We were walking in the park. This is the second time we've hung out, okay? We were walking in the park, and he put his arm around me, and my fucking heart dropped into my stomach. You know that feeling when you like somebody? And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, I really like this guy. Like, I've never had anybody treat me as nicely as he is treating me. I've never had anybody, like, put me up on a pedestal like that. And this is only the second time I hung out with him, right? So, from that day forward, he just kept on showing me how amazing he was. I'll never forget it. I was in his car. I had started my period. He had toilet paper in his truck. He went inside the store and got me tampons without even questioning it. I mean, he was just such a sweetheart. Well, I had a big court date up, and I had to be there. I could not miss this court date. And I didn't have my car because my car had gotten impounded, right? And I had sold it. Well, I called him and I was like, hey, can you pick me up at work? And now at this time, he's dropping me off at work and picking me up every day. And he goes to work right down the street from my house, from my job. And so we are like a little team. And he was like, hey, I can't pick you up and take you to the court date because I'm working, but come and get my truck. And I was like, come and get your truck. Do you know who I am? You know, and he was like, yeah, come get my truck. He goes, it's no big deal. I got full coverage insurance, and we'll go ahead and we'll get you added to it this week. And I was like, added to what? The will? No, my insurance. And I was like, okay. And so my friend took me down there to get the truck. I went and got the truck, went to court, and he goes, why don't you check the glove box? I left you a treat in the glove box, right? And I was like, oh, hell. And that's when I reached in the center console, and he had left me 2 methadone 10 milligram pills. And that's when I knew he really loved me, because he was sharing his drugs with me, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, aw, shucky ducky. Well, after that, I took his car right back to him. And I didn't do anything shady like I could have done. And he added me to his debit card. And I had my own debit card. on his Regions bank account, I remember his mom was like, "Are you crazy? She could rob you blind, blah, 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 blah," right? But I wasn't going to do that to this person who was treating me so good, and I had never been treated good like that before in my life, you know? That didn't even cross my mind to harm him at all. And that was only a month into our relationship. And so he showed me all these ways that he loved and cared about me, right? And that he wanted to take care of me. And I still couldn't believe it. That he actually loved me, right? And because I had been so broken and so mistreated in my past relationship, you know, that I could not believe that this could actually be a real situation, you know. Well, he started to struggle with his addiction to the point where he was showing me like how he struggled, because I hadn't really seen him struggle with his addiction like I did, right? And so what I didn't know about my husband is that when he struggled, he would go into very dark places, but he wouldn't try to hurt me. He would hurt himself. He would inflict harm to himself. And I remember, hasn't done this in years, but one of the first times that he got really bad, he cut himself, you know, and I was so scared because I thought he was going to die, you know, and I didn't know what to do because I had never been in a situation like that, and I felt, you know, really, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to die because I felt like I couldn't do anything to help him, you know. Well, his family tricked him into going into treatment. They lied to him and told him that this was a 30-day treatment program. It was a good place in Pocahontas, Arkansas. Now you got to understand, my husband is like highly addicted to opiates, benzos, and methamphetamine. Okay, and so all while treating me like a princess. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, they tricked him and told him how amazing this place was. Well, he gets down there, you guys, and it is one of those faith-based places where they have no medical care, nothing. It's just simply you go in there and they're praying your addiction away. They're doing Bible studies. I mean, sorry, I'm not a religious person. I believe in God, but I believe those kind of places are a sham. I believe those kind of places are dangerous. I believe those kind of places are not good for people to go to. They make you do manual labor. Like, it has nothing to do with helping you learn about your disease, and everything about you trying to pray your disease away. And I just believe that it is horrible, and those places should be shut down. Well, that's where they sent my husband, to this place where he is going through full-fledged withdrawal from benzos, opioids, and methamphetamine. And he has no doctors, no nurses, no medical care whatsoever, no medication, nothing. Okay? By the grace of God, he makes it through his withdrawal without having a seizure and dying. Okay? And then these fools start putting him to work. That because he's the only guy in the treatment center that has a legal driver's license to drive, they have my husband drive a van with no power steering that is hooked up to another car on a rope that's supposed to be pulling it in the snow. Okay? And my husband was like, oh, hell no. So, needless to say, he left that place. And he went to the nearest hotel and called me. Well, while he was in that place, like I told you guys, he had put me on his bank account. He had given me his whole prescription for methadone, which was 365 10 milligram pills, and said, go and sell this and put the money in the bank, right? So that's what I did. I will never forget it. His mom's like, she's going to take you to the cleaners, blah, 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 blah. When he came out of treatment, I had deposited $500 into his bank account because I sold those pills. Now, I took a lot of them too, but I sold them too. And I did everything. I proved them all wrong. And he came back, and I just remember him being so hurt because they lied to him. Like, you don't ever send somebody to treatment that has coming off of multiple substances like that to somewhere where they don't have medical care, you guys. Like, that is just so wrong. So freaking wrong. But, you know, that just brought me and my husband closer together, you know. Then we ended up getting pregnant in 2013. Now, I'll never forget it. Neil's dad would always tell me, my husband's dad passed away. He had a massive heart attack because he had been sick with like the flu, and he had been coughing like this kind of like funny cough that day while my son was at their house because they were babysitting my son because I was at work. And he had been coughing, and he coughed, and it actually dislodged a clot he had in his heart, and he had a heart attack that day. My little boy remembers it. The ambulance had to come and everything. But his dad would always tell me, my son loves you so much, my son loves you so much. And I'm like, I love him too. He's my best friend, you know? And he would always tell me how much Neil loved me. And I still, of course, because I had been in this horrible relationship where I had been abused for so many years, I didn't believe that he really loved me or could love me. I believed that I was not able to be loved, that I was this horrible person who didn't deserve to have a good relationship because I was a fat, ugly bitch piece of shit, you know, all the things that LD had said to me in the past. Which honestly, when I think about it now, like, I bought this dude a car, you guys. I bought LD a Ford Probe, a maroon Ford Probe. It was so cute with blacked out windows, and it was the car. He picked it out. It had a system in it, and it was lowered, you know, like lowered on low profile tires, and I did all these things. I helped him get off of probation. I paid his fines and fees. Like, I did so much to help that dude, and he took advantage of that. Neil did the same for me and helped me, but I didn't take advantage of it. I was like thankful and grateful that he helped me, because when I met my husband, like I told you guys, I was sleeping on my friend's couch. I was sleeping on my friend's couch. I had no vehicle. Hunter and Kaylee were actually driving me to work every day at Kroger. And so I really didn't have a pot to piss in. All I had was a closet full of purses, clothes, and shoes, you know? So whenever my husband met me, he really, really helped me. Now, I did lose my job when I met my husband because we were getting fucked up. We were getting too high for you know, me to be able to work my job. And I went in my job one day after being really high all night long. And I had taken a whole bunch of Xanax, like 6 or 7 Xanax bars, because I was really high on meth and I was trying to hide it. You know, I didn't want my job to know. Because the people at my job, they knew that I was in recovery from addiction. So, if I went in there all fucked up, they were going to know. So, I tried to hide it. Well, I couldn't hide it, and I was really, really messed up. So, they ended up taking me to get a drug test, right? Well, we're going to put these little eyelashy things on. When I went to go take the drug test, I was like, hell no, you guys took me all the way out here, I'm not taking this test. And I just left, and I got fired. And I had worked at that job for years. Years I had worked at that job. But that's how the cookie crumbles when you're getting fucked up. So when I lost that job, I remember I was crying, and I was so upset with myself. And my husband was such a sweetheart. He was like, it's okay. You can get a job anywhere, you know, like, you have a great personality. We're going to find you a job in no time. And he was right. I found a job, you know, in no time. It was nothing but a thing. And he helped me, you know, find a job. He was such a sweetheart, y'all. When I tell you guys, like, when I tell you all this stuff about my husband, I cannot tell you and brag enough about how good of a person my husband was to me and treated me, you know. And even when I did him dirty, you know, even when I remember one time when we first got together, he caught me talking to one of this guy that I used to date in text messages. I wasn't doing anything sexual with him, but I was, you know, talking back and forth with him in text messages. And my husband, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and he caught me, and he could have just thrown me out and said, "Fuck you, bitch, I'm out of here," which he did. He said, "I'm leaving you, and I don't need to be with you." And he took me all the way back to Hot Springs, Arkansas, where my mom and dad lived, and dropped me off at my parents' house. And I thought, that's it. I lost this awesome dude who is such a good man to me, all for what? Some piece of shit, fucking dumbass tweaker dude, right? And I was so upset with myself. But somehow, some way, he forgave me, and he came back and got me. And he just told me, like, "I love you." And I told him I loved him too. And I said, you know, I'm just scared because the last relationship I was in, I was, you know, with somebody who was not very good to me. And I should know better than to throw away such an amazing relationship like I have with you now. You know? He's dead. LD is dead. He actually died in a car accident in like 7 years ago or something. He was actually in the car with somebody who was drinking and driving, and they flipped their Jeep. And he was ejected from the car and died. And I'll tell you, I did see LD right before I met my husband. I had saw LD. I had drove out to his house in Hot Springs because I was living in Little Rock. And I stayed the night with him one night. Listen to this. I stayed the night with him one night. When I tell you guys, this man, he was still living with his dad, still living with his sister and all of her kids, didn't have a pot to piss in, addicted to opiates, miserable, sad, sad, sad excuse for a human being. Just a bad situation. I felt sorry for him, you know. Again, I was feeling sorry for his ass. But not sorry enough to go back. Hell no. And I just remember thinking, damn, I dodged a bullet with this one, you know. Because I would have been still in that same situation. I was sober. Okay? I went to see him, you know, I had gotten sobered up and I was living in Little Rock. I had just gotten out of prison. This is before, now I relapsed, of course. Y'all know that. Because this is before I met my husband. But at this time when I had went to see him, I had sobered up, and I had been sober for like 6 months. And I was like, you can get sober too, man. It's great. Blah, 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 blah. You know? But he was just somebody who I believe probably would have never gotten sober. It's sad. It really is a sad situation, but he treated me bad, so you know what? Karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. And I wasn't the only female that he hurt like that. He hurt a lot of girls, you guys. He was very abusive. Very abusive. Very, very abusive. And it was really sad. But, honey, I'm glad that I got away from him. And, you know, if I had stayed there, I would have never met my husband. I would have never had my beautiful little boy. Oh, gosh, my life would be so horrible. But look, now I have my son. I have all of you guys. I would have never been able to do social media dating him. He would have been so jealous. He would have been mad. He would have broke my phone if I had social media, you know? I couldn't even message people that were my girlfriends. That's how jealous he was. It was pretty bad. Okay. Dang, dude, we did a pretty eye look, didn't we, guys? But it makes me sad because I wasted so much time, you know? I wasted a lot of time in that relationship trying to help him But you know what? I was doing it because I cared. I thought I could help. And sometimes you got to cut your losses. You know, some people just don't want to be helped, you guys. Or some people just don't see in themselves that they can do better, and they will never try. You know? Um, some people are just doomed to generational traumas, I guess. Huh? What's wrong with this? Hold on, guys. I'm trying to fix my Wi-Fi. There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. My Wi-Fi was unhooking. Now, I believe you can always break these kind of, traumas and stuff, but some people don't even want to try to do it, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? And it takes hard work and dedication to break those kind of generational traumas and shit like that, you know? So, anyway, that was my really bad abusive relationship I was in, and I really didn't even share a lot of the main abuse that I experienced from him, which was more emotional and verbal abuse. Was all the time calling me fat, ugly, worthless. I'll never get anybody but him. Why would anybody want to be with me? I'm just a piece of shit, bitch, constant berating, constant being put down, constant. And that's the reason why they do that, is because they know that you are amazing and that you could get anybody, and they don't want you to, so they have to make you feel like you're a piece of shit so that way you'll stay with them. Because they know if you get out and you start getting your confidence back, that you will be out of there like a thief in the night. So breaking you down like that makes them feel better and makes them feel safer, and they're like, yeah, now I know she won't go anywhere because she doesn't think she can. Well, honey, you miscalculated me, baby, because I am the one who's going to escape your wrath and help other people do the same. You know? So, okay. Look at me, this little black thing right here is glue, actually. It's glue liner, and it works really good. And I'll tell you guys, we had some great times when we were first getting together, but they were so few and far between, honestly. And it was just not worth it. Now, I could tell you guys stories about how amazing my husband now, Neil, is all day long. Like I said, he really impressed me. He impressed me, he impressed my family whenever I met my husband. He is a catch. My husband is, any woman would be so lucky to have my husband. Like, honestly, I think back to the woman that he married before me, because my husband was married when he was younger, and he was really young. He was young, and he was with this girl, since high school, not high school, but since college, and they knew each other. They had the same friends, and his best friend ended up marrying her sister, so it was almost like he felt like this pressure to marry her. And he ended up doing it, and she ended up cheating on him with his best friend. And he was struggling with his pill addiction, and she just left his ass, to struggle. So I just believe that, when you marry somebody, it's for sickness and in health. And if you have somebody that's struggling with addiction, you don't just freaking hang them up to dry, You freaking help them. So now he has me. I would never leave him. He would have to pry my cold, dead fingers off his body to get rid of me. You know what I'm saying? I would never leave my husband. I love him so much. And I'm so attracted to him. I think he's so sexy. I love his red hair. I love his little face. I love his eyes. I love his butt. I love everything about him. I love his personality. I love that he's kind of like lets me be the center of attention. He kind of sits back, and lets me be the one. He doesn't compete with me for that. I love that. Sometimes when you get in a relationship, if you're not equally yoked or you're not like good together, you can be, it can be toxic. But not with me and Neil. We balance each other out perfect. I believe. Hey, Neil. Do you believe that we balance each other out really good? Yeah, me too. When you first met me, did you know that you were going to be with me forever?
I felt very strongly about it.
When you met me, did you think I was crazy as hell?
Yeah, what?
I said, when you met me, did you think I was crazy? When you met me, did you think I was crazy?
No, I just don't like me in your life.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're right. He knew I needed him to help balance me out. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. He helped me get back on track. He really did, y'all. He kind of did for me what I did for LD, only I really appreciated what he did for me and didn't take advantage of him. So sometimes you meet people in your life who are just meant to be. Honestly, I feel like my husband was placed in my path like by God. Because if he hadn't come around when he did, I was going to die from my drug addiction, God, I can't get this damn eyelash on. I was going to die from my drug addiction, you guys. Like, I had really given up hope on myself. And I'm sure my family was getting there too, because I had just went into a coma. So I had went into a coma and come out of that, and I had went to treatment after that and relapsed after literally almost killing myself. And so, where's that glue at? I know that we were all just really struggling, My family was struggling with me. It was a hard time. Well, this eyelash don't want to stay, so we're going to say fuck you, eyelash, and we're just going to do the ones we got now. Okay, cool. No big deal. No big deal. All right, put this back. Oh, 8 years. I'll have 8 years in July. I'll have 8 years in July, and my husband will have 3 years in December. We got sober at the same time, but he had a relapse in 2020. But he's okay now, and that's all that matters. And of course, when he had his relapse, I didn't fucking jump ship and leave his ass, to go party or, I stayed with him and helped him through it. Because I love my husband, and that's what you do when you love somebody. You don't just jump ship. Yeah, we help save each other. Absolutely. Damn, this really looks pretty, huh, guys? What do y'all think of the outlook? Hey, Ryan, what's up? I'm sad that I didn't meet my husband sooner. You know what I'm saying? I wish that I had met him sooner in my life, so that way I didn't have to go through a lot of the stuff that I went through. But it made me who I am today. It helped me to be a strong woman that I am today. And so, it is what it is. Right, guys? Hold on. That needs to stick down. I know it ain't trying to come off. I wish I had met him sooner, Yes, my husband, my son is my husband's child, yes. We got pregnant with my son in 2013, and we gave birth to him July 4th of 2014. And we got sober July 13th of 2015. Now you're probably going, why didn't you get sober right away? I wish I had, honestly. I beat myself up about it because I didn't. But me and my husband struggled, getting sober at the beginning. We would get sober and then relapse, and then get sober and relapse. I think a lot of people go through that, Yeah, so we're going to take this Pat McGrath eyeshadow and tap it on there too, because it just looks so pretty that it just needs to go with it. Oh yeah, baby, oh yeah. No, you're not. You are not a dumbass, Nate. Thank you. Okay, so this color right here is called, I don't have anything for it, but it's by Pat McGrath Labs, and it's called Moonlit Seduction, is this palette. Now let me just tell y'all something about this palette. It's a beautiful palette, okay? It's a beautiful palette, but I have this same eyeshadow in those colors I was showing you by Clionadh Cosmetics, and I think they're just as good. They're better almost, I think, because these eyeshadows only come in her palettes, and she only puts 4 of them in the palette, the special shades. And so it's kind of like you have to buy all her palettes to get these special shades, because she doesn't sell them separately. If she sold these shadows separately, I think it would be bomb. Okay, so yeah, baby, we did that. We did this eye makeup look, honey. Okay. All right, my TikTok family, I need to charge this phone because it's on 9%. So if you guys want to come over to my Facebook, I'm going to stay live on Facebook. My Facebook account is Nikki Pludre. I'll put it in the comments really fast if y'all want to come over. Now, CKYPLOUDRE. I would love to have you guys come over there and help with us. This live stream was about my experience with domestic violence. If you're ever in a domestic violence situation, it's not your fault. You do not deserve it. Get out. Run as fast as you can. I know it's easier said than done, because I've been there. Make a plan. Get some support from people that you love, and be safe, okay? I totally understand how hard it is, and I want you to know that you do not deserve to ever be treated like that, and that you are worthy of love. All right. Bye, y'all. Okay.